Okay, so I'm hoping this live stream thing is working. It's 8 o'clock on a Friday night, which is admittedly a very strange time to do a live stream. We should all be out partying or something like that. Although, last week after the live stream, I did go out to the pub, and that was a mistake. I don't really. Every so often, I kind of forget that I'm not like a pub kind of guy, and I'll go out and try to get and meet some people and everything like that. But it's just not really my thing. So tonight I'm just gonna go home after this. So hopefully somebody will show up to the live stream here pretty soon. This week has been kind of a busy week. Well, it's been busy in terms of there's lots of stuff to do, but not so much busy on my part. Like, I've been delegating a lot better this week than I normally do. So I've got we've got Emily, who works in the office. We got Rowena and Sandy, who work in the Philippines. And there was a holiday on Monday. It was a holiday in the Philippines for Election Day. So that kind of, just trying to it seemed like one of those kind of weeks we've been playing catch up a lot. Whenever there's been a holiday, it's just like a time when you just sort of yeah, Rodrigo, you're the first. Hey, Christopher, how's it going? So right now this is the part where I'm just sort of telling you guys about my week, because there's no question to really be. You must be Rodrigo Law. Yeah, Rodrigo's been here ages, so I talk about him a lot on the videos, from time to time. And we've been talking a bit about AdMob. Oh, and I wish I could show you guys my AdMob stats, but I was looking at it. Rodrigo, I showed him on Snapchat some stuff this week, and then I went and looked at one of my apps has a really low match rate. So we released an update last March. Last March. On EarSpy on the iOS version, and it has like a very low match rate. So I released a new version yesterday, and I noticed this match rate was wrong like a few months ago, and I thought I'd fixed it, but I never went back to check those stats. So I'm hoping that picks up that AdMob revenue a little bit. It's always good if you can find a nice little bug. It means like the whole system's not bad. Maybe it was something you did and you just fix it. So anyway, I just basically all I did was go through and put the new libraries in and a new ad unit, and I'm hoping that does it. Otherwise, I have to go figure out the whole flow of everything, why everything's not working. So I had the app moved from Objective-C to Swift not too long ago. So that was that was something there. So anyway, hey, thanks everybody for showing up already. Rodrigo, Black Dragon, Miguel, sup Miguel. Christopher, Stash Advisor, Budget and Wealth. What do you guys think of my store page? How can I make it better? I can share impressions, shop. Christopher, you want us to have a look at this? Is this an app? Stash Advisor? I know you can't put the link in here. But we could have a look at that if you want to. If it's on the let me know if it's on Google Play or iOS. So another big thing is last Saturday we reached 9,000 subscribers on the channel, which was just kind of nice. We went from 8,000 to 9,000 very quickly, and it's mainly because of this. There's one video that I did about why we're not using the Ionic framework anymore, and I did say, I really love the Ionic framework. I think like if you're going to do PWAs and everything, that's perfect. But I was just like for client stuff. That was mainly what I was saying. That it's. I'm kind of worried that Apple, because Apple's being Apple and they're just rejecting a lot of stuff lately, that they might not do it. So I got a lot of people saying really hateful things and coming in saying, oh yeah, well, I love Ionic, and I said I love Ionic too. So the channel's been growing a lot, but mostly by people who just disagree with me, which is okay. Right, and also, and this week I've been talking to a lot of people. I've been doing a little bit of consulting this week, which I don't normally do. I don't normally, hire out my time, not since I've been a contractor, and I've been talking to a few people mostly about app rejections. So a lot of people have had trouble with app rejections. They're afraid of being rejected. They're putting their first app out there through the Apple App Store and saying, what do I do if I get rejected? What can I do to prevent from being rejected? And for me, I'm thinking, I kind of expect to be rejected by Apple. It's like it happens so frequently with me that even with client apps, sometimes there'll just be some little thing that they'll do. And the thing is, it's not the end of the world. It usually, Apple takes like a day or two now these days. So let's see. Okay, Christopher. So where is it? Is it on Google Play or iOS? Don't get me started about matching rate or CGR. I also wanted to show you on my Snapchat, but my phone died. That's the problem with Snapchat. My phone always dies when I do it. But I looked at it and it was like, I mean, yeah, I mean, just one of those. I was going to do a video about it, but it's the whole not showing your click-through rates and all that stuff, your RPMs. Download Impossible Fidget Hop for iOS, my first game. Cool. Yeah, if anybody wants to put like an app name on here, go ahead. You want us to have a look at this, Jeff? Let's see. And Matus said, "Hi Eric, my first month I am at 5 euro cents RPM on AdMob banner. That's low. Banners are low. Expect for banners to be low. You need to get some interstitials in there. I also see you also see the difference comparing to other months. Yeah, I mean, this month seems to be low for me. I mean, my match rate is really low, and it does kind of go up and down, but not by that much. It seems like, and it depends on when you talk to people. It's funny because some people will be low and some people will be high, and it's not like everybody gets the same ads. This is the thing. You know, they got a certain amount of inventory. If you pay for ads, if you pay to put ads out there, you'll know that you pay for a certain amount of impressions or a certain amount of clicks and all that stuff. So they're not going to put it out to every single application. So, you know, the lower, my assumption is that the lower you bid on this kind of stuff, that means the lower quality apps is going to go through. So, you know, if you want it to show up like on Candy Crush or something, or, you know, one of the big apps, then you probably have to pay more for your bid rate. But if you pay like really low bid rate, like 1 or 2 cents, there's still room for it out there. And I think, you know, as your app starts to grow and download, you should start to get higher quality ads. At least that's, you know, how it should work. So, let's see. Data Plus Co said, anyone working on GDPR? Oh, that's another thing I did this week. I updated the terms and conditions for the website, but not for the apps. And I've been reading, again, there's this guy, I forget his last name, who's done some stuff, posted like an article on YouTube and talked about all the stuff he's doing on it. And it just seems like overkill to me. It seems like there's got to be a simpler solution, something that Google comes out with. And I'm still waiting. I mean, we've got a week left. We got a week left to figure out what to do, and I'm just, you know, I feel like I said this last week. I feel like the final is coming up, and I haven't studied yet. So like next week, I might be stressing about that a little bit. Let's see. I've been having a reject war with Apple all week. That's exactly the right attitude. It is. Sometimes you just have to wear them down, right? And this is something I was telling somebody before. He said, do you think I should make all these changes? I was talking to somebody, I think it was on Monday, and he just wanted to have a chat because their app is like it's actually a company, so they have like lots of apps, and they're getting these rejections. And he's asking, he said, we're thinking about changing this functionality and then resubmitting it. Do you think we should change the functionality first? And I said, no, I think you should just keep resubmitting it, right? You know, the whole thing with the Apple app reviews, and I did the video about it today, is that I think they just want to save time, right? If that's your job, like every day you go in and test apps, you're going to be looking for the first thing that you could disqualify that app, so you don't have to go through the rest of them. You cross that one off your list and everything like that. So if they can get you on something simple like little metadata stuff, then they will. If they could say, oh, that look, you know, 4.3 looks like all your other apps, then they will, you know, and then they don't have to worry about it anymore. They don't have to download it. They don't have to log in, all that kind of stuff. So, you know, if their goal is to save themselves some time, stop them from reaching that goal. You know, keep submitting it, and then, you know, say, hey, I want to talk to the reviewer, ask them lots of questions, do all that kind of stuff. You know, yeah, just be a thorn in their side. At least that's what I think. So let's see. Apps with Jeff Garcia. All right, let's have a look at Jeff's app here. Because, yeah, I mean, or I could tell you what I've been doing the rest of the week, which is not really that. This week has just been a slow week. I mean, it seems like I've been kind of going all over the place. I did like my first consultancy this week where somebody said, hey, can I get a couple hours of your time? And I actually said, yeah, I'm going to have to charge you. And this is one of the things, I don't really like doing it because it's, you know, it just feels like, you know, you just want to be helpful and everything like that. But I think I need to get into the habit of doing that just as a, you know, and the thing is, because I never know if I can help. That's the thing. I mean, I was talking to somebody at a business group the other day, and I was telling him this. I know this is illogical, but I hate to ask for money. I hate to say, you know, yeah, I could give you some of my time, but I'll have to charge for it because it just sounds sleazy and everything. And then, yeah, because I don't know if I'll be able to help. And they were saying, like, well, if you saw a therapist, you know, you don't know if they'd be able to help either. It's just, you know, your expert opinion and everything like that. So that's something I'm looking in, maybe putting some pricing structures in and everything like that, which is, you know, it's not that often, but it just, you know, when you're just, sometimes you just have these days where you just feel like you're rushing all over the place, you know, and then like a Skype message comes up and says, hey, can I ask you a question? And I was like, I've got everything else. You've got all this code in your mind. You're trying to solve a few different problems. You got all these chat windows open, and you're just running around everywhere. And sometimes it's, you know, it can just be very difficult and everything. So let's have a look at Jeff's app on iOS here. Let's see, Jeff, where was it? Download Impossible Fidget Hop. Okay, so you're capitalizing on the fidget spinner trend that I do not understand. Let's see. So I'm gonna look at it on the iTunes page here. Let me just move this window over. On the iTunes page. Sorry, just a moment. And scene 2. All right. So Impossible Fidget Hop on the App Store. Here we go. So this is by Jeff Garcia. And everybody let us know what you think. Here, let's see. Okay, the icon looks good. I think the fidget spinner, well, let's see how it's doing. I would think the fidget spinner would be a bit. Whoa, is that one screenshot, Jeff? Jeff, you have one screenshot? Let's see. Is this it? Is this the one? Am I on the right one? Or are there more with the same title? Let's see. I call having the cache full. Yeah, thanks, Roger. My cache is full a lot of the times, right? I'm all stressed out. People could tell. They could tell. Is everything all right? You stressed out? I'm like, yeah, fine. Let's see. Do give it a try. Let's see. So Jeff, yeah, I would say it used to be that the advice used to be you have 5 screenshots, use all of them. And you know, now, I mean, this is something I didn't even realize. Back in February, they increased the number of screenshots you can have up till 10. So you can have 10 screenshots here. And you're talking about, it's not just the screenshots, you're talking about the marketing material, right? This is the one thing, it's the sign you could put up for your app. So hopefully, I mean, this is the bit where we talk about the stages of your app being found. First of all, they have to find it, which means the keywords have to be there. The icon has to look good, so when it shows up in the search results, they go in there and find it. But then also when they go in there and look at the page, they have to be intrigued by it. So we have Impossible Fidget Hop. We got the iPad and the iPhone screen. We got one screenshot only, which I think you're missing a trick there. Also, the icon has a lot of empty dead space in it, and that's just a cosmetic thing, right? Really, I read this book once about advertising, and they said a lot of people talk about ads as if, you know, what works and what doesn't work. Or no, they'll talk about what they like and what they don't like. Like, I like that ad because it's, you know, or I don't like that ad because it's annoying, and I like that one because it makes me feel good or whatever. But that's not what advertisers should be doing. They should be looking at what works. So they test different things, and if there's like a really annoying ad like Go Compare or We Buy Any Car or whatever they have in the different countries, and it's really annoying, but it works and it brings people in, then that's the best one. So even though I might say that this icon has a lot of dead space in it, don't listen to me. Test a few different things and see what works. It's easier to do on Google Play. Because then you got the experiments and everything there. But I definitely say more than one screenshot, and let's say and maybe more than one sentence here too. Yeah, that's if I'm looking at. Oh yeah, of course it is Jeff Garcia. Cool. Yeah. So, and Miguel says the icon is bad. I don't know if necessarily think it's bad. You know, I think it's it depends on what it is. It depends on what people see, and like I wish I should have brought in my iPad so I could connect to the App Store on iOS here and show you guys my screen, but it doesn't. I have a sample of my new game coming this September. Dude, Jeff, do this one first. This one, get some screenshots on there. Look, Impossible Fidget Hop, you got Addicting Fidget Spinner, cool. So you've got, you know, fidget in there twice. I don't know if you need to have it in there twice and everything too, but hey, no problem. Oh, it's on your channel. Cool. We'll have to have a look at it. Jeff Garcia's channel. Let's see. The size of the app is high, I think. Oh, I didn't even look. Dude, good eye. Wow. Dude, yeah. Yeah, you're right. The app, yeah. 175 megabytes, yeah, maybe that might be a bit high. So a lot of the times you can minimize that by, well, reducing the image sizes and using what is it, libpng. So libpng. There's one that will reduce, or there's a PNG shrink thing, but you got to do it so that it doesn't degrade on the quality, but it still, you know, minimizes it. And where you can use JPEGs because they're a smaller file size. And if you can use code, even better. So like on this one here, if that's an image in the background, change it to a gradient code. I assume that these are not images. Yeah, it doesn't look like there's a lot of images in here, so I'm actually kind of surprised that the size of the application. It might be a music file. Like if you're using a music file, you could use, don't use a WAV file, you know, because even though it's probably the highest quality, the WAV files are huge. So go with, you could either go with MP3, and some people say that MP3 you shouldn't use because it's proprietary. You should use OGG for Android, or you should use, what is the one for, is it AAC for iOS? I can't remember. On some of my apps, I did it where I did both of them, and based on iOS or Android, I would play that file extension, right? But and yeah, most of the time I just use MP3 because, you know, it's just easier. It's easier to have one code base. Let's see. Rocket Loop. Hey, Rocket Loop, you're back. How's your app doing, Rocket Loop? We had a look at that last week. Let's see. Oh, sorry. Let me scroll up a little bit. I missed some of these questions here. Aiden MC said, hey, thanks for the videos. How do you move from coding apps yourself to getting offshore programmers? It's hard. You know why? Because it's hard. Because whoever you find, sometimes I think I would be better off, and I'd said this before, if I didn't learn how to code to begin with. But then I'd be like, there's nothing sadder than seeing somebody who's so dependent on another developer that they can't do something themselves. Like they'll be looking for somebody saying, hey, I need to hire somebody because I don't know how to change the font on my website. It's something like really simple, right? So I like being able to code, but sometimes it causes me to get very perfectionist about things. Like if somebody's taking too long on something, it's not even the cost. So like if I'm making, say, like 50 pounds an hour, right? So like was a contract to make it, so 50 pounds an hour, and I could hire somebody for 10 pounds an hour, which is doable, right? And they take twice as long as me. That's still better off, but it's just infuriating because you think that shouldn't take you so long. And sometimes it's not even twice as long. Sometimes it's 3-4 times, and you're actually, you know, thinking maybe I should do this. So that's hard, and you have to go through and find people who are just eager to learn. And people who would prefer to, I mean, for me, it's my ideal person working in the team is they like to work from home. They might not make as much money as they would in office, but they have a lot more creativity. They have a lot more stuff they can do, and they you know, and they could just, you know, they could be around their kids. You know, that's one of the things. One of the things I have no hang-ups about the fact when we have our team calls, if there's kids in the background, nobody should stress about that, because that's not, yeah, I think that's a good thing, right? For years, I was doing the rat race where I would get on the train, you know, wake up every morning at 5, put on a suit, you know, go down to the train station, get on the train, spend a couple hours on the train, go into an office, sit at a desk, and do the same things that I could have done from home and not have that big commute. And then I get home at, you know, 8, 9, 10 o'clock at night, and the kids have already gone to bed, right? And you're just thinking, well, I'm doing this for them, but then you never see them, right? So for me, finding an offshore person, the ideal thing is, I mean, you could go with like Upwork and do like stuff on project. I hired somebody on Upwork just today, actually, to do one little bit of work that I had some trouble with, which was nice, just to be able to go, you know, get someone. It was like a prostitute, I guess. I just need you for this one thing, right? I don't want a relationship, right? But most of the time, sorry, that was crude. Sorry, I don't know why. This is why I don't live stream. So it was like for this one bit of work, right? So it was just doing that. But like, I prefer to have somebody who joins the team, and then as they get better at things, you know, give them time to learn stuff. And as they get better at things, then I benefit. And then, you know, even if they get really good at this technology and then they move on, I'm fine with that too. I mean, my whole career has been going from job to job, and then, you know, and working really hard, learning the new technologies. And when I got to a certain point, I think it's time for me to move on and more challenging things. And then, that's the way of the world. And they benefited from all the work that I did as I was growing, right? Just the same way that I benefit from all the stuff that of growing of my team and everything. So, and I did a video on hiring people in the Philippines, which is my preference. I have hired a few people in Venezuela just because, I mean, they're having such financial crisis there and everything. But I think a lot of the times the issues I have with the Philippines and with Venezuela and a lot of places is internet reliability is patchy most of the time, and in the Philippines they get blackouts a lot. So they'll lose power for for a few hours here and there. So it's like it is what it is. But you talk about like a normal salary there is like what, $500 a month or something like that. So you think, if you get somebody on your team to help out. But yeah, I know it depends on what part of the world you're on. Like in England, everything's really expensive. So, that's kind of just the way it is. Let's see. Let's see. Aiden said, Eric, thanks. Okay, I already did that one. Offshore. Matus, I'm back a little bit on the questions. Currently, I'm at 30,000 total, 7,000 active Google users on Google Play. Only banner ad. Don't only do banner ads. I used to do only banner ads, right? And it was until somebody told me, you should do interstitials. I don't really want to annoy people. But that's the reason. There's a reason that apps are free. There's a reason that television has commercials for free television. It's how you earn your revenue. So comparing to other months now, okay, it used to be really low. So yeah, we talked about that. Smart 2 Pro said, hello, I want to ask you a question. Do you think that I need to be focused on create quality app or just a lot of apps just to have a lot of downloads? I create an Android app since 3 months. I think if you could do this is a question I get a lot, or not just I get a lot, I have in my mind a lot. Like sometimes I think I should just focus on this one app, right? I should just do this one thing here rather than have other revenue streams that come in. It's a lot of putting your eggs in one basket, right? Having a lot of downloads spread out across different apps is not really that helpful, right? If you had one app that did the majority of it, then that would be really good. But the thing is, you don't know how well that's going to work, and you're putting everything into that one thing, right? Hoping that it will work out. So for me, that's one of the reasons why I do lots of apps. And of course, Apple's penalizing us for it now because with the 4.3, every time we release something new, they go, oh, it's too much like the others, right? And you're just going to get to that point eventually, right? Which is definitely, even though they say it's nothing to do with the amount of apps, it's definitely to do with the amount of apps, right? Just based on everyone I've spoken to and everything, I think they just you have that kind of trouble. But yeah, if you know what it is, if you know the one thing, you could do that. But for me, I like producing I like producing them. I like putting them out. I like having other properties, something new to look at, something fun to play with. You think about if you were a musician and you only did one hit song, do you quit? And just say, I'm just gonna travel the world and sing this song for the rest of my life? Or are you gonna, every musician puts out, like, well, not every popular one-hit wonder has other albums that you never hear about, but they're musicians. That's what they do. I'm an app developer. I make apps, so that's kind of one of the things that I think I could just stop and just say I'm just the owner of this one app, but no, I like the process. I like doing it. So that's not a really very concrete answer. Sorry about that. Let's see. Shashank Shukla says, I recently started learning mobile development, transitioning from testing profile. That sounds fascinating. Were you just a full-time tester? Was learning mean stack with Ionic, but stumbled upon Flutter. Mean plus Ionic, so exhausting, and Flutter is so amazing. See, I'm finding the opposite. So I keep looking at Flutter because I love Ionic and I love the whole mean stack. But when I start looking at Flutter, I think it's just that you have to get used to this other thing. It seems like you have all these nested widgets and everything, and it's something I have to get my head around. I'm torn between, do I learn this thing or do I just try to focus more on the business side of things and hire somebody, right? And then, I don't want to get into that situation where I'm the guy who hires developers, but I don't know nothing about computers, right? I would hate to be that. So I think I'm going to have to to sit down and learn it, you know, at some point. And it looks really cool to me, right? I think it's got Google's backing. I like the fact that it's got material design inside it. I've seen a few, and it's so new that you can't even find a good book on it, right? That's how new it is. It's a few Udemy courses, but you know, it's just something that I want to do. So let's see. Yeah, do give it a try. Cool. Let's see. Oh, hey, Niraj is here. Let's see. Rocket Loop said, "Hey Eric, I got a few more downloads, but a few more uninstalls." That's normal. I've been adding a few new things to it, but haven't redone screenshots and description yet. Do it. Like that's probably good. That's more important. If downloads are your problem, that's more important than changing the app, right? You gotta make sure that you get the people in. I see Christopher. Oh, I've still got my screen up here. Sorry about that. Let's see. Christopher Buglio says Stash Advisor, budget, and wealth. Let's look at this. All right, so Christopher, we're gonna have a look at your app here. Okay, Stash Advisor. It used to be you could just do this. It used to be easier to do these searches in on iTunes. There we go. Nope, that's not it. All right, here we go. Cool. All right. Okay. All right. This looks good. Stash Advisor, budget and wealth. Cool. Track bills, budgets, and expenses. Good. I like that. I like the screen. I like the icon. For some reason, it's a bit low resolution here, but that's probably just the iTunes interface. And you've got all the screenshots, which look good. And you've got the copy on that. Yeah, this looks good to me. I mean, yeah, it's 120 megabytes, which, depending on what's in it. Let's see, reminders for bill to pay. Stash provides a plethora of financial institutions. Cool. This looks good to me. How are you doing on this, Christopher? How's it doing in terms of? Let's have a look at it. Let's have a look at it on App Annie. I hope you guys aren't bored with this. You know, I wish I could hear you guys, because then we can all shout at each other. Let's see, App Annie. Cool. Let's see what else we got here while we're doing this. Let's see. Niraj is here. Miguel says, "I've been making a podcast tool for 1 year now. Is that good? I'm focusing on quality." Yeah, I suppose so. For me, I think I have friends who spent like months working on apps, and they tell me, "Oh, it's going to come out in 6 months," and I just think the app market is just so finicky that unless you're actually promoting it now, and by the time, I mean, because you've got all this, you know, you've got all this time before it goes live, that you should be promoting it now, not wait until you spend a year on it and then release it and hope it does really well. You could start, you know, doing something, or like release a light version and everything like that. So let's see, keyword ranks. So budget balance 95, budget bill planner, bills organizers. So yeah, I don't see any so Christopher, I don't see any like major keywords here. Let's see. I think I would imagine this would be kind of a difficult one. So like if we did finance plan, like it's like the highest ranked words that it finds here is budget balance. So you might want to look for some lower keywords, so more long tail keywords. So like look for something, you know, if budget and wealth are too crowded, which it looks like it is, then you can look at for like synonyms for budget and wealth. Like if let's see if we do the thesaurus, thesaurus.com, which is like a very non-scientific way of doing this budget. Let's see, accounts, allocations, costs, total, aggregates, funds, quality, condom. So you can start looking at stuff like some other different words. I mean, this is just a poor man's, you know, keyword research thing, but I mean, you can start looking for other things that do it, or start looking at other applications in this niche. Let's go into, so if we did a search on finance, you know, what kind of apps would there be, and then we could look at those kind of. So actually, let's do that on Google Play, because I'm never able to do the search on the desktop here, and that was poor planning on my part. Sorry about that. Let's see. So we go. So if I just do budget app, right, and we find money manager, expense and budget, and then we take this guy over into App Annie and see what kind of stuff he's ranking for. Just to give an idea, and there's, you know, if you look at Mobile Action and Stack Overflow, they have better tools for this, the keyword spy types of stuff. But you could go in here and start seeing, you know, the guys that are ranking really high at this, you know, what kind of stuff are they ranking for, and how can we get, you know, in on that. So, oh, sorry, I did that wrong one. And of course, you increase that by doing the reviews and everything like that. Sorry, Christopher, have I been going too much on your app here? Sorry about that. So like the expense calculator, daily expense managers, all this stuff. So you could take that, put that into like Google keyword tool, see if you can find anything that's less popular but sort of similar and everything like that. I mean, that's just some ideas here. Let's see. I'm gonna turn off my screen here because I know I forget that I have it on. Let's see. Oh, you guys are asking questions too fast. Let's see. This actually is not that fast. I just read slow. I'm at a second grade reading level. Let's see. Christopher says we got about 37 downloads. I'm working on retention. Work on downloads. 37 is not a lot. I mean, I think people I mean, I know retention is important, right? Retention is a big key indicator on Google Play as to whether or not to keep your app. But retention for me has always been terrible, right? And for me, if I can get more people in, then I'm not. It's like I'm focused more on getting people in than keeping people in, right? Because retention is a problem everybody has, but getting people in is a big problem here. That's my ideas here. Max Steel Zero. Any ideas why birthdays suck in the UK? Birthdays suck in the UK? Do they really? Germany's works pretty okay. Are you talking about an app, or are you just talking about birthdays in general? Because they're okay. I mean, you know, I've been here for. Oh, that's another thing this week. This week I reached the 20-year anniversary of being in England, right? I didn't think I'd be here this long. I'm actually pretty surprised. But yeah, birthdays have been okay here. Let's see. Okay, Christopher, cool. Thanks about that. Very insightful. Rocket Loop says, if you had bad retention from the start, won't it make it hard to get the app off the ground? It depends. I mean, it's a chicken and egg thing. You need to get people into your app, right? So if you have people who install your app and they uninstall it right away, yeah, that's really bad. I mean, because that's going to be an indicator to Google that is bad. But if you have people who are installing your app and they're using it, and they're like, okay, well, and then they're moving on after a couple of days, and that's something that's different, right? They're giving it a try. Maybe you can give them to give a good review. But yeah, if it's something like if you downloaded an app and it crashed right away, you would uninstall it right away, right? It's just all there is to it. Or if it's something that just popped up with too many ads, or it's obviously some cheap thing, yeah, you'll uninstall it, and that would be a bad indicator to Google Play. Yeah, that's definitely something bad. So you have to watch that. I mean, when I talk about retention, I'm talking about 2 or 3 days, or like a week or something like that. If I show you my user retention, let me show you my user retention thing here. I'll show you on Ear Agent. This is the only one with any real decent data on it. Sorry, I'll bring it up here first before I show you. Let's see. Let's see. Nearly no downloads. UK 5 downloads a day. Wow. So Junaid says Apple rejects apps even if you are less apps in your account. It happens to me with only 2 games, 4.3. Really, with only 2 games. I was talking with someone. See, for me, I mean, I have a client that I've been putting the same app out for them, right? Because it was for events, and everything was so similar that I thought surely they're gonna get me on 4.3 for this, and I was so surprised that they didn't. They put it through, and only this week we put out a container app. Say, all right, the container app's done, but this was we did 5 different apps in between that. The icons were all very similar. The code was exactly the same, right? And I was like, I can't believe I got it through it, but on my own account, I couldn't get anything through. Right, I was talking to somebody this week who they have an app which they released for a client on a client's account, but then they tried to release it on their own account too, a different skin, different icon, everything like that, and they got 4.3 for it. And I thought that, you know, it's ridiculous. I mean, especially because I couldn't see if it's on their account and your account, they have no idea that you're the developer between the two of them, unless it's something really obvious like bundle ID or something like that, right? So, and you kind of be expected as a developer to check every single app that's out there before you release your app to make sure that it's unique enough, which whatever that means. So yeah, I'm not a fan of well. Obviously, I've had too many my daily videos, I realize, are too much rants lately on Apple, right? So let me just go find my user retention. Talk amongst yourselves. Let's see. Events. Have they moved it? It is in Google. It is in Firebase console, isn't it? Or am I just... Cool. All right. So... Dashboard. Oh, here we go. Retention, of course. So let me show my screen here. This is my ear agent one. It's just loading. So yeah, my retention is pretty bad on this. And from what I hear, it's all pretty much... like a week is about the average apps that are installed these days. That's if it loads. Let's see here. So, cool. Do we have any other questions here? Yeah, Junaid, I know what you mean. I don't. Yeah, it's really hard because you don't want to go and invest like months of your time. How's this for a retention graph? All right, so first day 100, second day 2 we're down to day 2 we're down to 8%. Yeah, actually, my retention is really bad actually. Boy, yeah, maybe I need to look at my retention too. But you know, the revenue's still coming in, but it's just bad retention. This is one of those things where I'm not a very good example. So. You know, for me, as long as the revenue is up, as long as people are going in and trying it, I'm more concerned with getting people in than I am with having them stay for days and years or whatever. As long as it's ranking well, then I'm happy with that. And that's, you know, if I could get, while they're there, if I could get them to leave a review, that's fantastic. If I could get them to do something that brings other people in, then that's good. And there are a lot of people who keep it for a long time. And I get emails from people who say, this is the best app ever on the App Store, right? But just a small percentage. And I get a lot of emails from people saying, this sucks. I don't, you know, it's like, it's the two extremes of the thing. So like the people who say it's the best thing on the App Store, I don't think that, but you know, it's, they'll, you know, there's also a lot of hateful things. Some people say, this is stealing my data, all that kind of stuff. It's just, and I'm always fending that stuff off. So let's see, what time was it? Oh, wow, it's already been 40 minutes. Let's see. Cool. So, yeah, apparently the retention plays a big part in the algorithm now. Yeah, no, I agree with that. I think it's because they tell you it does. I mean, they've said that. You know, Google will, if you read all this stuff, they'll tell you stuff. They'll tell you that it's important to have backlinks to your Google Play page. It's important to do all that kind of stuff. So, Ansh, big fan here. Hey, thanks, Ansh. Thanks for showing up. Yeah, I was starting to think maybe the daily videos are getting to be a bit too much. So, you know, doing them each and every day. And sometimes I know that the topics are not really that, you know, like they might not be that good. It's just like whatever I think to talk about for the day. I think for the last week, it's been mostly about apps, but sometimes there's been like days where I don't talk about apps for a few days or, you know, even a week. And then, you know, people get bored with that. But it's you know, trying to keep, so if there's anything you guys want to talk about or have a, you know, talk about on the videos, then that would be good. There's some things I don't talk about and people ask me about because I just don't know, like Unity ads. I've never used Unity, so I don't know anything about Unity ads. Sometimes people ask me stuff specifically about Google, and I say, you know, you need to contact Google because I don't know. It's like I just know from the experience putting stuff out there and stuff like that. You know, and it is hard to get in touch with them. But like an example would be, you know, my ad mob disabled my ads. What should I do? And I was like, I think you just, you know, appeal it, and if it's something you can't do, create another account and do it again, because I'm not really sure the answer to that. So Hello, hey, Wasabi. Too late, Wasabi. So I'm late to the party. Yeah, I don't think we have any more questions, Wasabi. Oh, no, wait. Black Dragon says, hey, Eric, how can we sustain our keyword ranking if we no longer want to use those keywords in our title and description? Long titles and description doesn't look very professional. I agree. Yeah, I mean, back in the old days, I mean, my titles used to be like, I think we had like 250 characters for Apple. I used all of them, right? It was like, you know, it was like a sentence, right? And it does look really bad. And you could see the top ranking ones, they do look better when they have their own brand and it's not all these different keywords stuffed into the title, right? So I talked about this before. I've got my Ear Agent app. It ranks number 2. Well, in the UK, it ranks number 2 for the word spy, and the spy is not even in the title anymore. It's not in the it's in the description one time, but it's all through the reviews. So that's something you could try. Is if you try to get those into the reviews and everything. I once saw I can't remember who it was. It was some YouTube video where someone was talking about black hat, which means cheating, like by paying for black hat ASO, which is paying for reviews and having them put certain keywords into the reviews, which is something I've never done. Not that I haven't been tempted by it, but I just think, you know, it just can't end well. Like, yeah, eventually they're going to catch on. You know, I don't want to have all these fake reviews on my accounts, and it's something I haven't really had to do. But you know, but if you could, like, if you had the little pop up that said, you know, please rate our app. If there's some way you could do it so that you lead them in a certain way, you like tell people how much you enjoy playing our game or whatever like that, you know, maybe that would help. But yeah, if you could get those in the reviews and everything, then yeah, you can start moving it for that. Because I was surprised when it was last year when Google Play came out saying you can't use the word spy or something like that if you had like analytics in it or something like that. And so I removed spy from the net title, and I thought that was it. That was the end of it. That was the end of that revenue stream. I'm gonna have to go and get a job. I'm gonna fire everyone and go get a job. And it didn't. It's still, you know, it's still up there. It still ranks pretty well. So it's because everybody's talking about that in the reviews. So let's see. Umair says, "Hey Eric, great to see you. Are you using ad network mediation in one of your app? If yes, then how is it going compared to AdMob in an app? And tell about MoPub also." I never used MoPub. That's one of the ones I've never used. And even with mediation through AdMob, it's been really low. It's like Rodrigo and I were talking about this once on Snapchat. He said he put ad mediation in there just because maybe it would like coerce AdMob to give him better ads. And I kind of thought I thought the same thing too, is that, you know, put a little bit of competition in there. Maybe I'll get some better quality ads if I do mediation, which I don't know if that actually worked. You know, it's hard to tell. But like usually the mediation networks are there. Like there was one time where I've got my ads were suspended because of the accidental clicks. It was when they were popping up, you know, just when the app first opened. So I get the email from AdMob saying we've disabled your ads, and I thought that was it. I thought that was a final decision. I didn't know I could just fix it. It was like a week where I had no AdMob because I didn't know that was something I could just fix. And but that I had AdMob and it was AppLovin. So AppLovin, that ad revenue that as a mediation network, that shot right up because all 100% of the ads were going straight to that. So it was almost like a good backup on there. But yeah, usually AdMob, you know, it does have a better eCPM. At least it has my whole time. You know, I just haven't had that through the ad networks, and that might just be because I'm using mediation. So let's see. Ansh Babar says, "Hey, I'm planning to make a game." Good. Do I need to use GitHub, or is it okay, indie soul dev, to manage the game? No, you don't need to use GitHub. GitHub is a. If you're going to use GitHub is the source code repository. Let me know if I get this wrong, because if I say something wrong for like the hardcore developers, but GitHub is a source code repository, but there's also where a lot of people open source things. So you can have like a free GitHub account if you don't have the security on it. But you should use some sort of source code control, like Git or Subversion, or, you know, or zip it up and back it up every day if you're like old school. Let's see. Neeraj says, "I don't know if you are getting my questions. Did you have some questions? Niraj, I didn't get any questions. I think that's the first one. Aman said, hey, Eric, what are the best methods to retain users? As we've established, you're asking the wrong guy. See, Anj Babar says, is version control necessary for taking out updates for apps? It's not necessary, but no, it's not necessary. But you do need to have, you should have something. This is like if you were to make, source code control helps you for, it's like a safety net. And it helps working with other developers. So like for me, source code control is good because the developers in the Philippines, and they check stuff in, or in the Vietnam, they check stuff in. I could pull down the release. I can run it locally. Everything's good. I can make a change. I could upload it. They could do that. And we can work in tandem with each other. But even as a sole developer, if I have an idea, and this is something that happens to me over and over again, where I just have this great idea, I'm going to spend the next day rewriting something, right? And I just sit there and I'll just go, I'm just going to move this stuff around. I don't like the way these variables are named. I'm going to change these variables. I'm going to move this function out to another class. I'm going to do all this kind of stuff, right? And then you get to the point where then usually what happens, like you're focused, you're doing everything, the plates are spinning, and then the phone rings, or it's dinner time, or there's a crisis at home, and you go back and you come back to this half done project that you can't remember where you were. And that's when source code control is good, because then you can say, hey, what did I change? And I just want to see a difference between what was there before and what's there. It's just to remind me where we were, because that was like 2 weeks ago and I completely forgot I was even working on it, or I lost the motivation or whatever, right? Or I can roll back to that change or whatever. Or let's say I did make the change and I release it to the App Store, and then it starts crashing on a bunch of devices. Then I could go back through and compare the two versions by just doing a diff and seeing what's changed between the two of these. So it's having that safety net. I mean, every developer should know how to do source code control. And it's like when I started, for years I didn't use source code control at all. I was the same kind of person. I would do access databases back in the early days, where I just have all these copies of the access database because I wanted to make changes to it, but I didn't want to mess up just in case, so I can go back. And you have all these, you have source code all over the place, and you don't know what the master is. And this is one of my big pet peeves when I work with other developers, especially junior developers. They'll take I'll say, okay, here's the Git repository, download the code, make the changes, whatever, checking in. We could always roll it back, so whatever. And they'll take it and they'll create another folder called source code and then the date on it, right? And so all of a sudden we went from having one bit of source code, the master, to having 2 bits of source code, not even a branch, just 2 different folders, right? Or they'll just do all this kind of stuff. Or I've even had developers save it to another source code repository, and I had to say, no, you checked it out, you check it back in. It's just one of these things that just drives me crazy. So it's complicated at first using source code control, but it's definitely worth it. And for those of you guys who use it, back me up here. So let's see. Breaking news said answer me. Oh wait, hang on. Breaking news. My game. All right, breaking news. Let's wait. I'm just gonna go back a little bit here. Too much wasabi says, Aman, best method to retain users. Have an intuitive app that solves the problem. Cool. Breaking news says how to rank my game. We'll have a look at that in a second. Breaking news. Amer says thanks, Eric. Breaking news. Hello, my game's on the App Store. Can I use Instagram for promote or an ASO? Yeah, you can use Instagram. I mean, it's you just have to make sure you have the right followers, or you can find somebody. I have one of my clients who to promote his app, he went and found like a YouTube, Instagram star. Is that really a thing, an Instagram star? But like somebody who had like a lot of followers on Instagram, paid a couple $100 to feature his app, and then they saw the upload. So Instagram is good for influencer marketing, and I know influencer marketing is probably a more complex term than that. I'm sure there's a book on it, but that's my understanding of how it all works. Finding someone who has an audience and being able to use ask them to promote it for you. Let's see. Smart2 Pro says, what do you think about using open source app for create your own app? For example, I use an open source layout XML or a part of a legal game in Apache 2 or GPL. What? Sorry for some error. I'm French. Hey, French. Cool. I don't think there's any problem with it as long as the licenses are right. You have to make sure that, and even that's not gonna be that big a deal unless it really takes off, right? You talk about Android is built on top of open source libraries. Lots of things are built on. WordPress is open. Lots of things. So WordPress open source. There's lots of open source things out there that you can use, and there's just really smart developers put that stuff out there, and you build stuff on top of them and create new things. But I think that if you should probably do some open source stuff too, right? It's not like just those crazy people. What were they thinking? I'm just going to make millions off of it. But there's really smart people out there who are building they're building their brand and everything by putting this stuff out there. And yeah, I mean, you can, as long as make sure it's got the right source code control. I mean, what is it? Ionic is MIT licensed. A lot of really good brands out there are doing this kind of stuff, or not just brands. Let's see. Let's see. Okay. Adam Major said technical ruler. Maybe you put links. Oh yeah, I think I'm not sure why we're getting why it's stripping links out of here. I'll have to see if I can. I'll have to see if I can find the settings on this. Okay, so breaking news. Breaking news says, look at my game. What is it called? Let's see. Game. All right. I'm trying to find what the name of it was. Breaking news. Sorry about that. I know it's stripping out links in the description here. Can you give tips? Can you give tips? Make any clone and it will make it rank. No. I mean, it's I think if you were to clone an app, like you were to buy. So this is for breaking news. If you were to I mean, that was a big thing. It was app reskinning for like when I got into this. I'm a software developer, so I did my first app, and it was just me for like a year, and then I got into this mastermind group of all these other app developers. A lot of them were just reskinners. They were putting out an app a day or 2 or 3 apps a day, or they had this factory thing going, and they weren't even coding it themselves. They were just going to like Chupa Mobile or whatever the other ones, buying it, putting some new images in it, uploading it, and they were doing supposedly okay, but I think it got over flooded with lots of people doing it. I did one reskin of a game, and it was on Google Play. It got suspended within like a day, right? It was one of those. It's one of the ticks against me, and I think it's probably a lot harder now to do it. Unless you had something really gimmicky and everything that you could do. One thing though, if you do buy that code from Chupa Mobile and stuff, it's really good for learning, because you can see how they do things. They might do things like have different libraries and stuff they use. It's always better if you can look at another coder's code, another developer's code, how they do things. It usually helps you going forward rather than just venting everything from scratch on my side. Let's see what else. Breaking news says my game. I am not putting any link. See, Technical Ruler says, hey Eric, since the beginning of this year, my paid app downloads have gone down drastically. Is it just me, or is it the new Apple App Store design? It might be the new design. Now, when the new design came out, I remember watching one of Steve P. Young's videos on this, how the videos on the App Store pages are a lot more important than they used to be. I helped somebody release their app to the App Store this week, just like as a consultancy thing, and he was asking me, hey, why don't we put a video on there? And I was just like, because it's too hard. Like, it's just putting the videos on there used to be really difficult to do. Or yeah, there was somebody asked in the comments too, and it's just, but it might be easier now. Hopefully they made it easier. It's so easy on Google Play because you use like a YouTube link, but that could be one of the reasons. And also, make sure you update it. I've heard people say that you update frequently, and then you do get that little boost because you get more relevant and everything like that too. Also, make sure that that it's iOS 11 compatible. I'm sure it is, but just check. Just try to download it yourself and everything on an older on a newer device or an older device. Let's see. Breaking news says, answer me. Breaking news, did I answer you sufficiently? Okay, let's see. Yuba Sin says, hi Eric. Hey Yuba. Let's see. Nukup says, I have an app on Google Play is reliably getting 300 plus downloads per day. Cool. But it's been going in decline ever since January. Reviews haven't changed. Now down to 15 per day. Any advice? Take a look at your I mean, if you haven't localized it, have a look at the people in those first 300 a day. Check to see what countries they were coming from, and make sure that your app is localized to those languages, right? And see if you can get it back out there. I mean, when you do have when you do have a hot streak, you want to capitalize on it as much as possible. So, you know, like that video on Ionic I did, that's getting a few thousand views a day as opposed to the rest of the videos, right? I had to go through and say, oh, we got to put some YouTube cards and everything, because, you know, you don't want to waste those opportunities. If you have something that's really going well now, you know, try to go and capitalize on it and check on that kind of stuff. If that makes sense. Breaking news. Oh, breaking news. There we go. Sorry, just scrolled down too far. Okay. Bitbucket, yeah, Aiden says Bitbucket's a good alternative to GitHub. That's what we use, Bitbucket. It's got a really good free tier, although I'm on the paid tier now. You get more private repositories for free. Everyone hears Git and thinks GitHub. Well, programmers do. Yeah, so yeah, we use Bitbucket too. What do you think about how augmented reality and virtual reality? So this week this was a tangent. This is the kind of thing as a developer that I should not do, which is I think, hey, how does AR apps work? So I started looking at AR for cross-platform apps. So, you know, you got ARKit, and there's ARKit on iOS, and what's the other one on Android? But you got the two different ones, and there's this one platform that does it through React Native to both. And I was looking at that this week, and I mean, I would just spent like an hour just googling it, running the demo programs and everything like that. Right? It was like I was procrastinating on some client work I was supposed to be doing, and I'm just like looking at this thinking, yeah, we should do an AR app. I think it's really cool. So, like, to give you an example, I had this, we were prospecting, and I was talking to somebody who did some, like, garden sheds, right? This company that was, like, specialized in garden sheds, and they go, I said, we could do an app for you if there's an app you need for whatever the normal spiel. It's not that bad, but you know, it's pretty slick. So, but they said, can you give an example of something that would help us? And the first thing I thought was AR. Like, if you're gonna have a garden shed, maybe you could do a little AR thing to say what it would look like when it places it there, right? Before I bought my Mustang last year, I had the Ford Mustang app, right, which had the augmented reality where you could put the Mustang places, and it's so sad, but I have a picture of the blue Mustang in my driveway. It was like, you know, even before but now it's actually there, so, which is kind of cool. But I mean, that was the kind of stuff where I think if you're going to do an app for businesses, I think AR would be good in that way, because you can see things, you know, before they do, especially for like building and construction and stuff like that. Let's see. Breaking news says, I'm a fan of you. Please speak my name. Breaking news. I said it like 4 times. Let's see. By the way, thanks very much, Breaking news. I appreciate it. By the way, I retain about 45% of installations after 7 days. That's fantastic, Adam. But I have very few installations per day. See, that's the thing. You gotta, you know, that's like saying, yeah, you know, it's like if you had a bar, you know, you think what's more important, getting people to stay in there or getting people to visit? Actually, that's not. You know, if nobody walks in, but the people do just stay there and waste all your time or whatever. That's a bad analogy. Let's see. Do Dart lib? Yuba said, do Dart lib good? I heard it is. Dart. See, I haven't really. I've looked at Dart and everything like that. So from what I've read, it works better than JavaScript. I prefer to use JavaScript, but because it's compiled, it's actually, you know, like native code, so it runs better. But that's just, you know, some of the stuff I've been reading this week. Like Voodoo and Ketchup app do. Oh, Voodoo. Oh yeah, Ketchup. Yeah. Oh yeah, they do. I mean, are you talking about like reskins like Voodoo and Ketchup do? Yeah, I mean, they do a lot of apps that are very similar to each other. I'll bet they don't get 4.3 errors. Let's see. N Jacobson 88 says, I have an app on the Play Store that was getting 300 per day. Okay. But the downloads have been on the decline since January. Okay. I think we answered that one. Anch said, thanks. That was so confused about the version control. Oh yeah. So that's pretty. Yeah, version control is important. it's hard to learn at first. You'll think this is a pain. I don't know why I have to do this, because I remember as a developer I was forced to use version control and I hated it. And once you get the hang of it, you're going to realize that you don't want to work without it. And so do it for yourself. Don't do it for others. Let's see. Junaid says, so how does this work? If you see an influencer marking, will you get a single day high downloads, but will rank in the organic downloads with getting single day high downloads? Yeah, I mean, a lot of this kind of stuff, even with ads, you're talking about single day high downloads. If you have something where people are seeing the ad and they're going in and downloading it, they're not going to continue to go in and download it, but hopefully they'll go in, leave reviews, they'll get the ranking up, and then you'll start getting organic. So, even if you pay for ads, you don't want to be paying ads forever. You want to get that boost, get a little bit of momentum going. So I know Clone suspended every 10,000 downloads. So what I do is publish it 90,000. Okay, let's see. And Jacobson says I have okay. Oh, breaking news says his game ranks 7 days in name of Clone. Let's see. I think you guys are probably way ahead of me. Let me just. Okay, I know. Do you have any experience with the annual self-classification report, which is required for most iOS apps? And no, I don't. What is it? I don't even know what that is. Is that one of the form fields? Is that one of those ones that I skim over? I don't. Let's see. Let's go. We got breaking news. Sorry for disturbing you. You're not disturbing me. I'm disturbing you guys. I'm sorry. Please forgive me. Subscribe since 2017. Oh, the trolls are coming. Oh, so do we need to leave? Let's see. The trolls are coming. Watch it. Yuba Sin says, I'm watching your videos. Want to code? So good learning for mobile. Cool. Yeah, I think it's really good. I mean, when you look at mobile, a lot of people talk about mobile applications being dead. We talk about it as if it's on its way out. PWAs and everything coming through. But there's so much out there that still needs to be done. There's so many businesses that contact me, each day, and they're like, sometimes they don't have the budget for it. They're just like, they have an idea or whatever, they want to do it, but they're not ready to do it because they're not really sure if it's going to work out for them. Anytime you see anybody walking around with a paper clipboard, you know that they need an application, right? Every time you see, you just look around, you can see all over the place. You see doctors and lawyers and everything that they need this kind of stuff, and they're starting to get it, but it has really bad interfaces. Even if you go, like when I go to go see the doctor or whatever, and they bring up that old VB form app thing that they have for the NHS. There's like all these businesses and industries that need proper applications. A lot of times they don't even know what they need. They need somebody to go in there and say, hey, this is what we can do for you. So let's see. Someone get breaking news to a hospital. Bye from breaking news. Breaking news, thanks for coming by. I know them Voodoo use codeless software that I have is awesome, no code required. Let's see, Yuba Sin says, what do you think about Kotlin? I've never used it. For me, Swift I welcome Swift because Objective-C looks like vomit, in my opinion. But but Kotlin, I didn't have a Java problem. Right? I'm fine using Java, so I didn't really go for Kotlin. But I think I saw when it came out, and I just was so, it was the same with Dart. It was like, hey, we got a new language, it's called Dart. It's like, yeah, I don't have a language problem. And then you start seeing other platforms come out. Like the whole reason I learned Angular was because of Ionic, right? It's just, sometimes it's the thing. And a lot of reason people learned Ruby was because Ruby on Rails, right? So there was these languages that took off because of the platform that they're in. I have a free game which gets a good number of reviews and ratings. Should I keep it free or make it paid now, as I am not generating enough money from the ads? Now, you should make in-app purchases. One of the things, I don't know if they changed this, but I don't think so, is you can't go from free to paid. And the reason for that is that in the early days, people were releasing their apps for free, getting lots of downloads, getting lots of reviews, and then saying, okay, now you have to pay for it. Right? So it's one of the reasons why you can't switch over. I think it's the same in Apple and Google. Or am I just generalizing? But yeah, I mean, that's one of the reasons. But you can do in-app purchases, so that would be good. Flappy Bird ranks in weeks. I use codeless software, just drag and drop. Are you using Game Salad? Breaking news? Is there a different one that I don't know about? Cool. All right, I think I've answered all the questions. If I've forgotten one, I'm really sorry. Beer, your message was removed. I don't know sure why. And cool. All right, hey everyone. I hope you're not getting too bored with the daily videos. We'll keep them going here. We're kind of getting a rhythm here going now. So like right now we have like today. The one I recorded today was will go on Tuesday. So I actually have a few days in advance. So we're able to get all the subtitles in there first. And so sometimes when you guys ask me questions in the comments, that's the thing I feel bad about. I feel like it's inauthentic, but I'm still doing it every day. But it's just sort of get this lead time in there so that we could get the good thumbnail on there, get it out at its consistent time. Because like last year at this time, I was publishing them all myself, doing everything. Sometimes it'd be 10 o'clock at night, sometimes it'd be in the afternoon and everything like that. So hopefully you guys aren't getting too bored with them. If you have anything you'd like to see on them, please let me know and everything. So that would be cool. And I'm going to get, okay, regarding my last question, the annual stuff is required for iOS app that chooses HTTPS. I've heard even if it's just a library ad bump. Yeah, I'm not sure. I think I've just kind of ignored that one. The thing with Apple is I assume that they're going to reject it if I break any of the rules, but that might be naive on my part. Let's see. We will someday switch to Kotlin because actually the second official language of Android. Yeah, maybe. Yeah, I guess I will learn Kotlin when I have to, right? I think that's my side. I think I'm getting too many languages jumbled up in my head sometimes. So, anyway, so this has been longer than last week. Sorry about that, guys. Thanks so much for showing up. Do you guys want to do this again next week? Should we do it? Maybe we could do it a bit earlier. I know the guys, all the viewers in India are saying that we should do it earlier in the day because they can't see it. But if I do it too early, then the people on the West Coast can't see it. So if none of you guys are from the West Coast, then screw them. You can do it earlier in the day. So let me know. But yeah, we'll be back. Next week. Thanks so much for showing up. It's really hot in here. Whew. All right, everybody, have a great weekend. I'll talk to you guys on the daily video tomorrow.